All right, all right, all right. Here we are, my friends. Episode 18. Had to double check, like always. Today I am here sitting across, sort of, at a very far distance from Jaceowns. Well, not too far, not too far. He's just the next state over. But you guys know him. But either way, Jace, man, if you're real, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I am a robot. No. So yeah, I'm Jaseowns, right? I've played UO for a long time. You probably have seen my name in the game if you played Outlands, because I do enjoy scripting and publish a couple scripts that may or may not advertise my name. Just trying to get me out there. So if you've ever seen a zombie or a Earth Elemental, named Jace YouTube, that was me. So.
Some people have not gotten stolen from because of that. Because I'm like, oh, that's Jace. No, I don't want to steal from Jace. And then I'm like, they're like, that wasn't Jace. And I was like, what do you mean? It said Jace YouTube as his pet. And they were like, yeah, that's what his script does. And I go, oh, yeah. Got it.
Yeah. So I'm the script guy. So if you got any questions.
That's right. What got you into gaming, and now what are some of like the early games you played? Before UO, right?
Yeah, before UO. Yeah, again, I've talked about this on my stream, right? Because I stream too, so we out here streaming. But you like gaming got me early on. Obviously, Nintendo was my first forte into it, right? Mario, sitting in my little chair, 4-year-old, like going at it. But then my dad had like a K-Pro computer, and it was one of those ones where the keyboard kind of like pulled off the front of it, and he had like floppy disks of games, right? And so some of the games were like you were a zero jumping around. There was some math games. I'm not good at math, but there were some games there, so that was good. And then we got like a PC, and my dad had like Warcraft 1, like the original Warcraft. So that was like my first graphical game that I was like, holy cow, like this is so cool, And my dad didn't really enjoy it as much, but I did, right? And so anytime I got a chance, I would play on the computer.
So. I loved Warcraft. Warcraft 1, I think you could like grab 4 units at once, right? It wasn't like a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I would play that with my stepmom and my dad, null modem, IPX cables or whatever. And they would, my stepmom would want to harvest like everything before she
would clear the map.
Clear the map, yeah. And but when we would play together, they never showed mercy on me. They would just dominate me and then play with themselves and like kill each other or whatever.
Yeah.
But that game was a lot of fun. I think the campaign was really cool,
Yeah.
That, seeing all the different orc tribes names on the scoreboard and stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it got me interested in games, right? So then it just kind of spiraled out of control from there as I grew older, right? Like Warcraft 2, Diablo. I was pretty much like a Blizzard fan. Like Blizzard was like the jam. Any Blizzard game, I was all about it.
Lost Vikings,
Blackthorn, like all of those games were just, those are my jam. Like the art style, the things about it, Diablo. Like just they couldn't do wrong, right? Like that, those were all my jam. But when I was playing Diablo, like I heard about on BattleNet, like people talking about Ultima Online, right? And ended up getting a magazine that had Ultima Online in it. And ever since I saw that, I was like, holy shit, there's like a whole world. Like, and I was trying to show it to my dad. I was like, yeah, like we need to get this game. Like we need to get this game. It's going to come out in September. And, it was like 1997. And I was like, it's going to come out. And he's like, nah, like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to get that game. And I constantly bugged him about getting it. And so we eventually got it for Christmas. So,
okay.
But,
so it was only like 2 months late, what I mean?
But maybe dude, that 2 months was miserable for me. I mean, I like every day I was reading about it because you could tame a dog, like,
yeah.
Stupid.
So I had a friend who he was real into like hunting. He was one of those guys, right? Really into hunting. And I told him, I said, man, you got to play this game with me. We can go hunt. We can get a bow and arrow, and we can shoot deer. And he was like, okay. And so we both make characters. He logged on my dad's account. I logged on my account. And we make characters, and we try to kill this great heart. And obviously, it beat our ass.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do we do now? That was the most boring fight ever. I was like, well, we got to go to a wandering healer. And he was like, okay. He wasn't feeling it. I would never forget that. Yeah. But I mean, obviously it took to me because I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. Here we are now, right? So,
yeah.
What, where did you get the name Jaceowns? Like,
I mean, because I own, right? Like, I know it's, yeah. So my name is Jason. I've always gone by Jace. And so when my very first character I ever remember making that I needed a name for was in Diablo for Battle.net. You had to make your character, right, to log in. Yeah. And I, as a little kid trying to think of a name, I was like Light Bulb, like, so Light Bulb was my name originally, right? Because like that's pretty.
I had a character named Band-Aid.
There.
I can relate.
Yeah. So
when you're just looking around the room, like, huh.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of how it came. Like, it was just Jace. And then I started playing a lot and I was like, I owned you. Like I own. So then it just turned into Jaceowns. Right. So, that's hopefully it, sticks.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It stuck this whole time. And then in my senior year of high school, I actually, I registered a domain name. So Jaseowns.com. I've had that since high school. And the tagline of the website was like, I own and I have a website to prove it. Like that was my joke with myself, right?
Yeah.
But I've kept it. I'm almost 40 now. So
that's great. That's great. Are you doing anything with it now?
No, I mean, throughout the years, it's like, gone through different iterations. So yeah, currently it's just the front for the UO stuff, but
right.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So, Diablo, man, it was a lot of fun. I remember just, trying to get all the dupe stuff, right? Like the godly plate of the well, the grandfather sword, all that crazy stuff. And then we downloaded a trainer. Did you ever download one of those?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you got her.
And it ruined the game, right? Like it's fun for like a month, and then you're like, okay, I can kill Diablo as fast as I can get down there. And
exactly. Yeah, that does happen to games for me. Like I'll get super excited about something. I might find a cheat here or there, and then be like, all right, it's over.
Yeah.
Like with UO, like speed hacks and all that kind of shit. I tried to not do those, right? Obviously, I did dabble into like UO Assist or whatever. There was one that you had to pay for. It was like
UO Assist, yeah.
Was that UO Assist? Okay.
Well, there's probably more, but I know you had to pay like $15-$12 a month.
Yeah, because it was, the way you skilled up your character was holding the space bar down, right? You'd set up a macro overnight to hide or spirit speak or whatever. You'd put a book or a coin in between and it'd just go. Then UO Assist was like, oh, you can just record an action and hit play, and it did it. And it told you your potions and your regs, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, wasn't that great? Yeah, like the title bar, I mean, like it is, well, I guess, yeah, sort of like it is now. But, that was like a huge thing to be able to see, okay, there's Mandrake Groot. I got 15 more of those bad boys. So I need to restock soon. And I got bandages and all that stuff. And being able to queue a target. You can remember that. I thought it was hot shit because I could Vastword Flam Court Pour faster than anybody, or so I thought.
Yeah. I mean, so talking about that is like, I was a PK. I was just a piece of shit. I was just a mean 12-year-old kid on the internet, like I took in real life, I'm a very nice guy. In the game, I was just the complete opposite of that. I felt like I could get away with anything. If the chat logs came back to haunt me now, like I feel bad for anybody growing up on the internet, right? Like,
yeah.
So now I try to be a nice guy. I try to make up for all the bad decisions I made as a kid.
I think about the original Xbox Live, right? And Halo.
Yeah.
And we used to just try to say terrible things to get people to stay in the lobby with us. and me and Beltane would like time. It was the game. The Halo wasn't about playing Halo, right? Like we'd play our match, but we would have a competition to see who could keep somebody in the lobby the longest. And just like irate, angry. You know
this trying to piss people off. Yeah.
But that's how the internet was back then, though. You know what I mean? It was it was way different. It was way different now. That'll get you in some trouble.
Yeah, get you in trouble. Yeah, get canceled. Yeah. So so I apologize to anybody that might know me from back in the day. Again, speaking of UO, like I didn't know anything about servers. You know, I was a 12-year-old kid. I created my characters all over. I didn't even know that you could like log out in an inn. So when I made a character and then logged off, and it said you had to wait to like log back in, I would just go to a different server and play another character, right? Because I didn't get the concept of like, oh, you play here, you're in this world. I just like hopped in to different characters, right? So yeah, I played like Napa Valley, Pacific, Chesapeake, Baja. I had characters on everything because I just didn't know. Yeah, it was like, oh, you should pick one, and that's your home.
So you would just regularly make a new character, and
yeah,
and then just like get like 60 swords and go kill a miner or something.
Yeah, exactly. And what's funny is like our computer was so bad at the time, like you couldn't even load like Britain, like you couldn't start in a good city because otherwise it would just be so choppy I couldn't even play.
Mm-hmm. That's how Minnick became my like hometown. Anytime I have that map, I'm always in Minnick because I'm just the same thing. Like
that was your spot that you could play. Yeah. So what's funny is we got a computer, like a new family computer, and the first thing that I installed on it was UO, and I didn't know at the time, but that chest that opens up, it was animated, that it actually had like an opening thing, because on our computer it was literally shut and then open. You know, like, and the first time I saw it open, it's still ingrained in my brain of seeing that thing open. I was like, oh shit, like this is going to be amazing, you know? So, and then, you know, the progression of dial up to having DSL, you know, everyone was speed hacking at that point. It felt like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. So I would play at Beltane's house. I lived the next block over, and I would go over to his house. We'd trade hour for hour, and same thing. He had like a terrible computer, like really bad. My main character was Ninja, and then it wasn't a Ninja. He was slow, right?
Yeah.
Just the terrible computer. Well, anyways, so I got my own computer finally, and my dad had said like, but we're not giving you the internet yet, right? And so I had my computer in my room with no internet. But when they installed a cable modem, he went ahead and he had whoever, AT&T, Cox, whatever, like get the internet ready. So when they were going to give it to me, and I found out, right? Like I got a Cat 5 cable. I plugged it into the back of my computer and I plugged it into the wall. And I realized I have internet.
Yeah.
And
the world's unleashed.
Yeah. And I downloaded Ultima and I logged in, and I had a decent computer and I had a cable modem, and it was, I mean, just like you, it was like, suddenly the game was already amazing, but now it was just, wow.
Yeah, it like opened up. Yeah, again, going back to like you hear sound, or you could see images and hear sounds. It's like the horse sound of being on DSL, where it went like like that to me is the like epitome of UO sounds. Like the fact that you could hear the horse go fast. Like I don't know. That's it's a core memory. We'll be 80s talking about it. Be like, hey, remember the horses?
Yeah. Speaking of sounds, man, like remember just running through the wilderness with or without a horse and hearing the cats and the bears and the chickens.
Yeah, well, I mean, you hear those in movies, right? Like sound, like there's different shows that have them, and you're like, oh, that's the deer, you know, that's the hind. Yeah.
You do, man. I don't understand that. I don't know if there was like this weird soundboard that everybody like sampled from, or if everybody played Ultima and nobody talks about it or something. Because you're right, man. You hear those sounds a lot.
yeah, there's like the alligator noise. Like I hear that multiple times. I'm like,
Yeah.
where's that from? You know,
Yeah.
I can't even make it, but
Yeah. I know what you mean. It does.
yeah.
I don't even think it sounds like a real alligator. I don't know.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
it does.
it doesn't. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I tried to like do it.
We'll just turn this into a sound effects at this point. Let's go. You know?
Yeah. We just trade sound effects. Like, all right, now do a headless one. Yeah. All right, I'm on that. That's great. So, I mean, early days UO, man. Tell me like a memorable story. Like you said, you were a shithead, right? So tell me how you grieved somebody, or maybe you helped. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it kind of just goes back to like, there's so many stories of me being like a noob and then thinking I'm not a noob, right? Because I'm 12, so I'm like, I'm just a king. Yeah, I'm a king, you know, you guys don't know.
Yeah, you kill one person and you're a god.
I'm a guy. Yeah, exactly. And so what's funny, when I first like joined a guild, right, they were trying to help me out, and this was on my old computer, and I was still shit, right? And I ended up getting killed by a goat, okay? A goat. I attacked a goat and I died to the goat. But on ICQ, I was telling everybody a PK just killed me. A PK got me. Like, you guys are going to need to come help me. I was like just lying my ass off saying that a PK killed me. And then they showed up and it was like, no one's around. And they're telling me we couldn't find him. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, what was his name? And I'm like, I can't remember.
A goat.
Yeah. So it's things like that. And then it's waiting outside people's homes, you know, because back in the day, the keys situation, you could like just get into somebody's house. And at that point, you could take whatever you want. And so just waiting in stealth mode, hiding till you could run into somebody's house and take their things. I was a professional at that.
Yeah. I remember watching my dad and his friend Strider, I think, because I remember him because we would selling wood. But anyways, I remember watching my dad and Strider and some other friends of my dad's. Like they got one of those, I think it was an L-shaped house, right? The L-shaped, like they PK'd a guy and he had his key on him and they just kept the door open and were just pack horses in and out and kept killing this guy over and over. Yeah. And he would come back and he was like begging. Like, please don't stop. Take all my stuff. Please, like, what do I need to do? And, you know, you think about that, like, back then, maybe it was easy to get gold, but it sure as hell wasn't for me. And it was the beginning times of MMORPGs where there wasn't YouTube guides and there wasn't wikis, or there really wasn't scripts back then either. Like, It was the very early times of online gaming. So what he had in that house, to have an L-shaped house that was filled with stuff.
Yeah. It's a feat. That's a job right there, you know?
Yeah.
And you guys took it from him. That's so messed up. How dare you?
It is. But I just remember that, and thinking about it now, I'm like, oh shit, man, that's screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Going back, like I would wait for like miners to mine a whole bunch, and you would drag the ore across. So I would just hide and wait. And then once they got close to the forge, I would click it and I would take their ingots. But I would just
all for 80 ingots, right? All for
exactly. You know, and then killing miners was probably my forte. Like I had a red and I would kill miners. That would be my jam. Now, the story of like my murderer had like a whole bunch of murders. I was an archer, and an archer mage, right? And so I was nuking everybody, getting everybody, killing everybody. They would bring their guys to come fight me. I would run away, recall away. They knew where I lived, so they would sit outside my house. They would like try to get me before I got in my house, right? So I had like random runes in the forest. That way they wouldn't always know where I was recalling away. Cool. I'm so smart. This is very smart of me. And we were friends on IC. For some reason, we had ICQ with my enemies, right? Like, so we would talk shit to each other. And so one time they were getting me, I got away with like just barely a bit of health, right? And I alt-tab to type that, hey, I got away, you sons of bitches, you know, ha ha ha. And I blew up in the background because it was like a delayed explosion, right? And I feel like they changed that. Like I feel like explosion used to be instant, maybe not. But I was alive, alt-tabbed, to talk shit, and then I died. And it was like devastating to me because it was like stat loss. There's no way I'm going to recover my character. Like, I didn't want to lose all my stuff. It was like I was crushed. And it was all because I had plenty of time to heal. I had plenty of time to like fix myself.
Talk shit.
But I hadn't talked shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So that another memory just ingrained of like, okay, that's on me.
Yeah. Yeah. It was brutal back then, man. It was real brutal. Because I mean, it just where gear, like even GM stuff, what is now, it's like, okay, you know, back then it was like heartbreak. You know, if you had a power bow, you were, oh man, this guy's got a power bow.
Oh yeah, it's cool. Yeah. What's funny is like like training, you would go into like the bone wall over there to see, you'd stand there and you'd poke up with a bunch of people. Someone have the wrong weapon and then it would like ruin the whole thing.
Yeah. They had a silver weapon.
Yeah. Then PKs would come in and it would turn into like this crazy chaos fight. Right. And it was like, fun. But again, I was a kid, so it was like fine. And nowadays you're like, I'm not 100 skill yet. Like, this is some bullshit. Like, I can't, like I can't even play this game. And I don't think I was ever a GM anything on live, like, right. I'm pretty sure I never made it to GM, but
I know for a fact that I played with like 83 Majory and I would fizzle E-bolts and stuff like that. And I would run around. Because I used to look forward to the titles, right? I'd be like, oh, I'm almost an adept swordsman, and I would look forward to the next one. And that's what me and Beltane would strive for, is just seeing what the next title was. We had the little instruction book and we're like, see, when we get 90, we become a master. And we had this one friend who was a GM swords and a GM tactics, and he had a halberd. He would always have a GM halberd, and he would just whack people, man. And again, not everybody had 100 strength, and so he would sometimes one shot people, with his halberd, and it was because he was GM. But it was mind blowing to see that back then, and now you're right. It's funny because people are like, oh, well, my template's not exactly the way it is. It's like, it's okay, man. You're going to be all right, dude.
You're going to be all right. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do on these streams, like new player stream challenges, right? I'm just like, hey, let's get in here and play. Like, it doesn't really matter. Even creating your character, you don't need to remember, because before, skill game was so hard and stats are so hard. You literally, like on the old school UO, you needed to start with a specific skill number because it was going to take you forever to get it, right? Yeah. On Outlands, like, the good news is, like, the noob experience to 80 on a lot of skills is like pretty much you could do it in an hour or two. Yeah, so
exactly.
Don't be afraid to just create a character and get started.
Yeah, if you pick the wrong skill, you're gonna be all right.
You can be okay. Exactly.
Yeah. You just switch it around again, and I think that you would. I wish there was like a pop up somehow that. Know how to like illustrate that, but just it's okay. Experiment.
Yeah, exactly. Get in there. You're going to die. Like, it's funny because I don't like Dark Soul type games. Like, I get frustrated like too hard. Like, I don't want to have to repeat a mechanic like over and over again. But with UO, I'm okay with dying in UO a whole bunch of times. But it's a little bit different, I guess, to me. Maybe I just grew up with it. But you're fighting something and you die, you're gonna die. It's fine.
My thing with Dark Souls is, and I've heard Wukong's a little better and Elden Ring was better, but my thing with Dark Souls is the animations are slow, right? Like, you hit the button and he brings the sword way back, and then he brings it over, and then he pulls it back, and then you can hit the button again. So like, that whole thing right there is like a second and a half of, okay, I hit this button and now I'm screwed if I hit the wrong button.
Some way around. Yeah.
And I'm not the guy to hit the right button all the time. Even in this, I'll be like, I should have fireballed, but instead I threw an E-bolt. And so he got the heal off or whatever.
Yeah, or you should have casted heal, or you casted flame strike on somebody, and then you murdered them.
Yeah, sorry, sweet.
Yeah,
sorry, sweet. So there you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That might have been the beginnings of Whiskey Saturday, though.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Hashtag I was there.
Yeah. Good times. Good times. So, speaking of new servers and free shards, really, what was your like? How did you find out like this isn't it? Like there's more than just retail. There's more than just Atlantic, Pacific, Napa Valley, etc.
Yeah. So like I was playing retail for 1997 till like EverQuest came out, so 99, right?
Yeah.
So like UO was my jam. Then EverQuest, like I completely forgot about UO. It was like EverQuest 100%. I all summer long, just EverQuest all night long. UO was dead to me, you know. But then like expansion started to come out for UO, and it was like 2000-ish, year. And I was like, all right, I'm going to check these out, and so I was playing UO again because of those expansions. And then I heard, I don't know who told me, but there was a free shard like Import Yelm, like IPY. And one of my buddies was like got GM access or something, like it could apply to GM access. And so he was like, hey, you should like play over here. And of course we cheated, and so we got items and like he would help us out. And then same thing, I was trying to be a PK thinking I was cool, but I really just suck at the game,
Well, with that blessed Vank Warhammer that he gave you,
Exactly. Yeah. And so that was my first forte into like a free shard was IPY. And then, we took another break, like WoW came out and I was like, wow is taking over my life now. And I don't even need EverQuest now. I don't need UO. I have WoW.
Do you remember real quick when WoW came out and, I just came from EverQuest, right? Mm-hmm. And I loved EverQuest. As we said before this, we talked about it. I mean, we could do an entire hour and a half of just talking about EverQuest.
Yeah, exactly.
But I remember the first dungeon I did, Dead Mines, and blasting through that door, and there was an animation of like that big Tauren guy or whatever, and I was just like, this is cool. Like we're diving through this dungeon instead of just sitting in one spot pulling monsters as they respawn for hours. And
yeah,
I just thought that was like the new thing. Like this is so cool. I guess
like
it
an
was,
instance,
right?
Yeah. No, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But
yeah. It's funny. Yeah. Cause I talked to my friends about what was great about EverQuest? What was great about WoW? Like what's great about UO? Like why were these games so good? And why can we not find it again? You know what I mean? Like it's 2024 and we're all chasing the dragon. And there's different dragons involved. You know what I mean? Like with UO, it was the first of its kind. It did no wrong because it literally set the standard of like how games should work, right?
Yeah.
And then EverQuest was like the first 3D version of like you're actually a person in this world. It's not just this top-down view. You can literally go wherever, look wherever. It's a big ass world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then WoW came out and it was like more cartoony. But then it was the lore of the games that I knew, like I played. It was like when you saw characters, you're like, I remember this character from like Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 1. And then, there was so much like excitement and learning. And now I think we're in an information overload of like, oh, well, I want to know everything about the game before I even try it, And so like we're part of the problem, but
I hate myself. Dude, I always say like, give me a game where to play it, you have to sign an NDA. And I get it. NDAs get broken, right? But I mean like, let's just pretend everybody's on board with it. Give me a game where everybody signs an NDA. There is no wiki. The only information you can get is that which is in your Discord with your guild or your friend. Maybe there's a cap of players in a guild, and you know what I mean? Like, somehow keep the information from, like, make it an actual resource instead of a right, a privilege, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just there.
Yeah, because again, it's like somebody's like no maps. There was no maps, right?
Yeah.
Like you didn't know where things were. Like EverQuest, like you had to like explore the world to learn, you know?
Yeah.
And then like that is now etched in my brain. I could run all over the world just from the old Nog, you know?
I remember Butcher Block Mountains, the Skeleton Tower, and where all the goblin camps are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I remember having to, make those like visual cues to navigate around.
Yeah.
Now with maps, dude, maps and GPS have ruined me because I have to like go there 100 times before I realize I just follow the thing.
Yeah, we're following arrows at this point, right? Both in real life and in game. Like that's the fun. Like that's something I say all the time on my stream. Like, oh, I'm overweight in game and real life. But like seriously, the navigation used to be landmarks. It used to be how you like remembered your path.
Yep.
In real life and in game, and now it's literally like just I'm gonna tell my phone where to go.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit like where it tells me. Like it might take me a different path the next day because the traffic pattern was different. And I'm like, I didn't even notice. You know, it's like
right, right. Huh?
That felt a little faster. Yeah.
Is this the same? I don't know. That's how it goes, man. It really is. I think you're right, though. Every game had its own little niche, right? Ultima is same but different than EverQuest. EverQuest is same but different than World of Warcraft. Ultima being like the furthest from them all, but either way, like the premise of a role-playing game, hit points, stuff, all that good, cool things like that.
Yeah.
And now I feel like most MMORPGs, I'm playing another skinned over version, dumbed down version of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
One way, shape, or form. And I don't know what it is that next thing needs to be. And I don't think anybody really does.
Yeah.
But if you notice, a lot more people are playing older games these days than the new ones. There's so many of them. They're saturated, right? Used to, you would be like, hey, you're going to play Rift when it comes out. Like you knew the games that were coming out. Remember when they started talking about EverQuest and Ultima? It was like this dark cloud of like, EverQuest is coming, man. And
yeah. I fell into it, like again, when EverQuest came out, I was like, UO's dead. It's done. It's, and then like WoW came out, I was like, EverQuest is done. I don't, but I still play all of them.
Yeah. Me too. We played some EverQuest when Yellowknack, it was a TLP server came out. And I got to like level 45 or so. And I was getting power level too, right?
Yeah.
And had a good group and everything. And it was just, you log in, you got a party ready to go. And I remember I go, I don't have the time to keep doing this because I see how I remember this game now. And I reluctantly quit because
it will consume you. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah. So anyway, like going back to like the progression of UO servers and so I was playing all these different games, right? Like I'm StarCraft, Warcraft, like those games are still my jam, right? Diablo 2, Diablo 3. Like I'm a Blizzard fan. They went through some shit. I'm still paying them. But the UO free shard community, I was playing Renaissance. My buddy started Renaissance and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I went so hard on Renaissance. I was like, this is it. I like started to look up items and I was like, oh, like I can't find the information I want. And I was like, I'm going to make an item database. And I was like trying to collect things. And I was doing my Jace stuff like outside the game. And I was trying to find more information about Razer. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And I was making scripts for me and my friends. And then we got a tower. I loaded it up with like 90 sheep. I had a script that could, shear the sheep. And then we all quit, because we beat the game at that point. Like once you max everything out in like the old style UO, like why are you playing? Right. From my point of view.
No, I'm with you. There's just no like, I don't know.
Yeah. So then, time went on and then I tried like UO Alive and I've played pretty much not every shard that's come out. Obviously I can't say that, but I've pretty much tried all of them. Sphere, Alive, Lost Lands, why are the names escaping me? Anyway,
yeah.
everyone was saying like,
I mean, if you say a word, it'll probably be an Ultima server.
yeah, exactly. So the my friends were playing Outlands, and I was like against any shard that had a custom map. I was like, nope, that's not UO. Like there's no way. Like that's stupid. And so they were playing Outlands, and my buddies were like, no, you gotta like check this out. Like it's pretty cool. And I was like, nah, it's stupid. Like they changed the game, and they're like, just try it, you know. And I reluctantly logged in, hating it, you know. I made my character all angry. I selected a ranger template because I'm like, I know I want to be an archer at least, but then I was like, it's different and stupid, and you know, like the whole time I was being negative.
Yeah.
And then I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to get like magery because they don't have runes like moonstones here. Like this server sucks. Like meh. Because I was actually on Angel Islands at the time. That was my main jam, and they have like moonstones to get around. And I was like, all right, like
that was a PvP shard, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was PvP.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I started Outlands. I was like, they don't have moonstones. So I started to look at the wiki, and you could camp to different places. And I was like, you can travel around without magery, you know? And so then I was like, oh, and you unlock the places with camping. So then it was like my mission to like explore the map and unlock the camping positions. And the more I explored, the more I was like, holy shit, like this is like a really cool, like this is a cool map. I feel like I'm exploring and I'm doing the thing that like I liked about all these other games, right? And the fact that I didn't know certain skills did certain things because they changed them was like now refreshing to me instead of being like, this isn't the same. I was like, oh my God, this isn't the same. Yay. You know, like,
yeah.
So yeah, that's what got me into UO Outlands. And I was addicted. I played it, screaming, hopefully good screams. I just nonstop played, right? And I played it to the point where it was like, I'd stay up late. I would just keep going. And I didn't know how to make money. I was not a money-making person, but I do like loot. And so I set up bots to like click house signs, and find eye docs. So like that was my forte into like Outlands I was just hunting eye docs down right when I got started. So I would explore the world and I would check every sign. And I had an Excel sheet where I would like write down if it was greater, what day it was.
Nice.
I would mark a rune. I'd come back. I was like very efficient with the iDoc situation.
Yeah.
What was nice about the iDoc situation is in the middle of the night when it went down, it was just me and some Brazilians fighting over the remnants. And so like I became friends with them and we just split the loot at that point, right?
Yeah.
Instead of fighting, we were just like, all right, let's just do this. And then they announced that they were going to change iDocs to be the thing. And I was like, I quit. I'm not going to play the game anymore. You know, like you ruined it for me. Like that was the thing I enjoyed the most. Yeah. And I can't do the thing I enjoy the most. So I quit and I moved on to other servers. And I came back and I was like, all right.
When was this? Was this like after Cabernet release, before Cabernet, or?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when that patch was, but it was like, I'm trying to think, like, because there's constant patches, you know, like the game with like Luthieus, their team, like Owen, the team, like I don't know if they do this full time or what, or if it's just a crazy side hobby, but one of them's got to be loaded because the amount of time and effort they spend on like making this server is got to be a full-time job. And I hope that they are making it for doing all their effort. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I 100% agree. It's mind blowing. You know, I'll start playing some other game for a little bit on the side, right? And then all of a sudden another patch comes out and I'm like, oh, I need to be part of that. And then everybody that's playing that game, they're like, well, where are you going? I'm like, there's a new patch on Outlands and I want to do that event. And, you know, or this came out or whatever. And, you know, I'm pretty good at playing two games at once, but at the same time, Outlands is my primary game. It's without a doubt. The amount of content that they put out, and it's just constantly adding on, you know, like the King's Fair games every year. They're adding 5 more, and they're doing like interactive ones now, and it just like that in itself. The King's Fair is mind blowing what they do with it, and the clothes. Just
what's so funny about Outlands is I have like a love-hate relationship with them, you know, just because I'm like the script guy, right? And so anytime I would make scripts, I would then get nerfed, you know? So like my very first stream that I ever did was being a red hand, because I saw you were doing red hand stuff, and I was like, all right, let's do it. I'm gonna stream me being a red hand. And we like did live scripting of like how to make red hand thief scripts, and then like 2 days later all of those are turned off, you know, and I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, you know, like I can't even do that, you know. And it was just like this constant, like we would make things in like
to break it.
Yeah, exactly. So my joke was like, whatever I'm going to work on next is going to get nerfed, you know. Like and so there was some ebb and flow of like, you know, why am I even like doing this? But hey, it's good, you know, it's been fun. But like when Wildlands was coming out, I was all done with the game. I actually was going to quit when Wildlands got announced, because I was like, I don't want to go through all this again, you know? And I was like, as they were talking about turning off scripts completely, and I was like, that's my thing. I'm just going to like, that's it. I'm done, you know, like me. And I started like looking at how to like make my own shard. Yeah. Like I was like, I want to get them. And then Wildlands came out, and I played it, and I was so addicted. I literally played every day. I streamed every day. I played every day.
You got like tier 15 Arcane in like a month or something like that. Exactly. I'd be like, oh, it's noon, Jace is streaming. Oh, it's midnight, Jace is streaming.
Yeah, exactly. So I went from like F this server to like its biggest spearheader of like, yeah, it's the best. So same with King's Fair. Like King's Fair, like last year, I made a script to play the games. Yeah, and I made them say stuff about
walked and stuff, right? And everybody would say stuff in general chat and Discord. It's so funny because general chat and Discord is like, they're loud, right? They will give their opinion, and they don't give a F if they piss off, right? Yeah. And I remember they were like, all these bots running around yelling Jaceowns.
Yeah, but my tagline was "Thanks for the fun, Outlands," because it was fun. Yeah. It was cool. But like people got upset with that, and they were upset with me, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then like this King's Fair, like Owen was like, "Hey, like please don't have it say anything. Like I don't want to have to ban like people for like having scripts in the thing." And I was like, "Fine." So I like updated the script to not even say anything. Just kidding. It did say like your turn. So if you said it, if you saw anyone say "Thanks, your turn," like that was mine. But I didn't like play in the fair this year. That was my strike. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna participate.
I'm keeping my gold.
Exactly. Exactly. I'll show you, Outlands.
That's great. You know, I didn't get to do as much in the King's Fair that I normally would have liked to do. I had to go out of town for work, and I was just like, man, if I'm gonna miss 3 days of King's Fair, I may not rank. So, well, you know. Yeah. But I got to play the new games and enjoy them and things like that. And somehow I got a silver King's Fair trophy. So that was awesome. I mean,
well done.
Yeah. And so that was cool. But I just think it's, you know, like with Arcane skill coming out, that's, man, I really enjoyed that. I was curious how that was going to work. I remember when it got announced, and I was like, that's interesting. And it was the same when they put Chivalry and Necromancy. I was like, what the? They're going to do this route, you know? And then
they're ruining the game.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it came out, and I was like, wait, this is cool. And then now with Arcane, I was much more optimistic, but I was still very like curious how it was going to work. And now, man, I don't really have a desire to do much else than play my Arcane, just because I just feel like that's the fun one for me, you know?
Yeah. That's how it is for me. Like I the way I like to play a game, like WoW, I was always like a tank, like a tank or a healer, right? Like that would be me playing WoW. EverQuest, I was an enchanter. I was like a helper, you know? And in UO, you can kind of be whatever, you know? Like there's no like design class, but I like the concept of like being a tank, right? But I don't like playing a tank. The Arcane Mage is like a tank. I just love it. Like it's so good. It fits like how I want to play the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got me hook, line, and sinker with that son of a bitch Arcane aspect, man.
Because you can sit there with Arcane aspect and parry and just chain flame strikes for days and days and days.
Yeah.
And
it's a dopamine. And like every loot, every kill is random. Like again, why do I like games? I'm an addict, you know. So the reason why I like these games is because every mob can drop something, you know. I always like just kill everything in the forest because you never know what you'll get. And like sometimes on stream we'll like kill a wolf and we'll get a core, just a random ass like.
That's how I got my first 75K was I killed a giant spider and an MCD dropped. And yes, they were selling for 75,000 gold back then. Yeah. And that's what let me start buying and selling stuff on the buy sell stuff was that MCD.
That MCD started your bankroll. Yeah.
Yep. That's it, man. That's it. So anything can drop stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It is cool. You know, when you kill stuff and then you get something good or whatever, just a core, it's like cool. Even if it's like a crappy earth core, you're like, yeah, God,
you gotta, exactly that dopamine hit. You know, give me that dopamine.
So, speaking of scripting, was it Ultima that got you into it? What really got you? You know, if then. Booleans and all that fun stuff.
Wow, nice. Wow, good name drop here.
Yeah. I did a little Python. I don't remember shit, but I did a little bit.
So it's funny, like, again, going back to UO, UO's been my life because from a very young age, I've loved UO. And when my adventures of UO started and I killed people, I wanted to show you how good I was, right? And so I was taking screenshots of people like me over their corpse, okay? And I was like, yes. And I asked my dad, I was like, how can I make a website? Like, because I want to post these pictures on a website. And so we went to Fry's Electronics way back in the day over there in AZ. And he got me a HTML, like Learn HTML for Beginners book. And I looked into that thing and I made my first web page based on me killing you in the game and then posting your screenshot on GeoCities. So I don't know if you remember GeoCities.
Yeah, Angel Fire and GeoCities.
Yeah. Oh, I had a GeoCities webpage where I would kill you and then I would post you on this webpage. I wish I had the ability to like get all the images and get all that stuff back. I can't, unfortunately. I even went through like the web archive trying to like find it, but I can't.
That's awesome.
And so that's what got me into like development. Is just me trying to show off being how good I was.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I was just killing minors, but still got you. So as I got older, that's when I was like, oh, I'll buy my own domain. I got like Jaseowns.com. I was using it just for random projects. Like I got in a car accident and I posted my car accident picture on there, you know, and I changed it to Jace got owned, you know, like it's just stupid. It was stupid shit. And it's still just stupid stuff. But I ended up getting a job as a web developer when I was 20. And so it's because I like learned stuff from
the interview where you were like, look at my website. This is me murdering minors.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's like I could do anything. Like like if you need me to make pictures, I could do that. Like I can edit photos, I could do whatever. And so that I learned Cold Fusion. Cold Fusion was like my first like real language beyond HTML. And so that got me into like, I don't want to say scripting, but like that got me into like actual programming. Because HTML is really just like the building blocks of a website. Whereas once you get into like a programming language, then you can reference objects and you can like learn how to do things. And so while I was playing UO, like Razer came out and I didn't quite understand it, you know, like I could see the correlation between them, but I was like, I'll just stick with macros. Like I don't want to mess with all that stuff. I don't want to have to learn that stuff. But then as I got older and then we were playing Renaissance, I was like, wow, you can actually do quite a bit with this like Razorscripts stuff. And, you know, like that helped us build our empire. And I could lumber and do mining and pretty much do anything I wanted, kind of like automate it. Yeah. And so it just I kind of grew doing that, like in the background, right? I never thought to share the scripts until like Outlands. And it really just became like, I saw you and Trammy Surprise doing videos about UO. And I was like, maybe I should do like a video about scripting, right? So my very first YouTube video was about how to mine. Yeah. And yet again, the 2 days after I posted that video, they changed how mining worked, because before you had to click the pickaxe, the little cursor came up and you had to click around you. Well, they enabled like smart harvesting. So when you double click the pickaxe, it just worked. And I was like, damn it. I just made this video.
Doesn't it feel good? You spend like 10 hours doing it and you're like, God dang it. And then everybody's like, hey, well, that's wrong. And you're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, this doesn't work. I'm like, yeah, that was at least 10 hours ago, bro.
Yeah. My favorite's when it's like 4 years ago and somebody's like, hey, this is wrong. And I'm like, yeah, look at the date.
Yeah, there's some things have happened since then. Yeah. So that's what's funny. Like that got me into didn't quite making content. A quick side note, I actually was trying to make content back in like the World of Warcraft days. I started my YouTube channel with me uploading a parody song. I was actually rapping. I was an orc hunter, and so I made an orc hunter remix rap song. Didn't quite. And I thought it was the coolest thing. I loved it. I was like so proud of myself.
Do you still have it?
No. So this is where the story gets sad. So if any viewer out here can find it, this is great. But I'm the first person, I think, in the entire history of the world to successfully delete something from the internet. Okay, because I posted this thing, I shared it with my friends, they all loved it. Right? I posted it to the Warcraft forums. And then the trolls came in, I was not prepared for how shitty people would be to me in the comment section, like I didn't grasp that, and so that was like 17 years ago now. I think it was like 2007 when I posted the video.
So you're still real fragile in the brain about that. No cow's brain or all that yet.
Yeah. So it was like, oh my God. And I took it so to heart. What's funny is it was just me sitting at my computer and I had like a Subway cup sitting next to me and I was just like rapping into the video camera like I was just doing.
Oh, it's so good. So like you see you. It's cute.
It's me.
See, I was just imagining you like PKing people or in the battleground.
No, it was me just sitting here as me with my Subway cup behind me, and I was just rapping.
Right? Tell me you had like a bucket hat on or something. I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure I was like wearing a collared shirt. It was just like, it was just me going like I was trying to share my talent, Yeah. And the comments were like, man, you're so fat. Like that Subway isn't working. Like, what do you think about Garrett? Like, it was like, it was just like constant, it was constant. And so I deleted the video, but I didn't just delete the video from like the YouTube. I like deleted it off my computer and I deleted the lyrics and I wanted it to like pretend it never happened, like I was trying to like report on the the WoW forums to get it taken down because people were still making fun of me even when it was gone. And I was like, oh, I just can't handle this, like, oh my God. And now I realize that, no, that was just a rite of passage back in the day. Like I should have just kept it up. And if it really bothered me about the comments, I should have turned the comments off. But I just didn't know how that worked. You know what I mean? And so
like, now you could like embrace that and just always have a Subway cup and a call
my jam.
Yeah. And start rapping about the same things they're making fun of you for or whatever. But
exactly. Yeah. And that's, but unfortunately I was unable to like survive that initial thing. And I've always wanted to do YouTube. I've always wanted to make content. I've always wanted to do that stuff. Like I enjoy it, but that experience of like my first time and it was just way rougher than I thought it was going to be. So that kind of sucked. But then fast forward to UO, I was like, all right, I see you guys out here making content. I was like, let me just get back into it, And it was like COVID and it was like 2020. Right. And so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to try to do this.
Yeah. That was the thing to do, was learn a new skill.
Yeah. Exactly. You can't go outside. So
yeah.
But anyway, the rest is history. Look at us. We're doing it.
Yeah, man. Really what I've been trying to do is just figure out how to make it take less time. So if you got scripts for editing, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still trying to figure that out. And what's funny, there's so many things to make content about. And like, I have so many ideas that I want to do. And there's just never enough time in the day, whether it's to play a video game or to like progress in life. I feel like everything's, I don't want to say it's slipping away, but it's like,
Yeah, no,
it's already September.
it is. I really wish there was at least 28 hours in a day, you know?
Yeah.
Like let me work my job. Let me come home. Let me get like an hour or two of actually playing Ultima. And then let me work on, you know, some
other
status stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the world doesn't work that way. They're like, no, think what you're gonna do today.
Yeah,
So-
pretty much. Yeah. So yeah. And anyway, like the scripting. So that's what got me into it again. It's like UO was the thing. YouTube, you guys again helped me make that content. And then I was like, all right. Since I was doing the YouTube videos, people were asking me like, well, where can I get these scripts? Like, what can I do? Like, and so I started like a GitHub repo, but it was like kind of hard because if you don't use GitHub, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, it's using it first. Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, let me make a little website, you know. But since I've been playing all these different servers, I just didn't want to do like Outlands, right? So I was like, I don't want a name, I want a domain that I can like branch out. Because if Outlands doesn't work out for me, I want other options. So Razorscripts.com was my first like real trying to, all right, let's go ahead and make a website. And yeah, so that's pretty much, we just kept building from there. And I think I have like almost 800 scripts on the site. They're community driven. So
Yeah.
you can download somebody else's, you can upload yours. It's, it's going pretty good.
Are you going to have a section on there for new legacy?
That's okay. God, you got to bring up new legacy, bro. Okay. I'm a little bit. Oh God.
Oh, I know, man. I get it. You keep going up.
I'm a little bit upset about new legacy. I want UO to succeed. I love UO. UO again. It's been a very big part of my life. Like it's made me who I am today, for the better or worse.
Yeah.
And when you talk about UO to somebody who either has played UO in the past or is currently playing or has maybe never even played, where do I play? What do I do? Right? Yeah. If you go to UO.com, you're going to go into like the official UO, but the official UO is stuck in 1997. Okay. And it bothers me so bad that open source clients, like the open source community, Outlands, Jaden, the guy that actually runs the open source project, can make so much enhancement and progress on the system in their free time ? That the actual game company that I'm supposed to like love can't, that
they're getting paid to do it 8 to 5, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. And so like the new legacy announcement, I was like, all right, let's go. Like I heard about it like a year ago and I was like, all right, I'm excited because I want to be able to be excited for an official UO shard, Yeah. Because from my standpoint, somebody who doesn't play UO currently and they played UO in the past, UO.com is where they're going to go, right? And if you tell them about a free shard, you think it's like, well, that's just some guy's like basement. Like they just have a server in their house. Like, I don't really want to do that. Like it could go away at any point. Right. But UO is going to be around forever. So for me, talking about UO, I want an official UO shard, because that means we know that it's going to be real and forever. Magic Happy Land, you log into UO.com and then you see Outlands in the list, like, I don't know how to make that happen. I don't know if that's even possible. Of course it's not, because they won't do that, but I feel like that's how it should be. You should be able to like absorb some of these bigger, projects and be like, hey, like we would like to take you on. UO Alive, you've been around forever and you're like, you have all these different systems. Like, let's have that be an option. Hey, Outlands, you've been around for 5 years and you're doing a fucking fantastic job. Come on over, buddy. Like, let's allow people to see this officially.
I completely agree with you 100%. I think that there's some synergy there in the MMORPG market share, like place. That right there, what you said makes a lot of sense about UO.com and them being more open to the gray shards, as they call them, the free shards, because man, I can't tell you how often and you get it too. I know you do, and so does all the streamers out there right now. The people that are making content, YouTube videos, they get people. I mean, I'm getting like 3 or 4 a night in my chat right now, where it's like, "Hey, man, been watching your videos. I didn't realize Ultima was still a thing, but I found my way to Outlands." Or on the other side, they're like, "Hey, my shelter looks way different than yours," and you come to find out that they've logged into retail because of either my content, your content, somebody else's, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that rather than this, who's your favorite football team? It's my team and not yours. I hate you, die. Mentality that is found all over Reddit and other Discords and stuff. Like, work together, in my opinion, because I really do think that that's the key for longevity of Ultima Online itself. That's the key for it to grow. Because, look, I love Outlands more than any other shard I've played, but I also am a realist, and I understand that Outlands isn't for everybody. I see it all the time. People are like, "Oh my God, I got PK'd. I hate this game." And then I usually am like, "Oh man, go check out UO Live." Like, that looks like a pretty cool server. And then of course you have retail or whatever. And to me, I'm happy they're playing Ultima, man. I'm sorry they're not putting dollars in for the Prev coins to help develop the Outland server. But again, man, I want Ultima to be around so that when and if Owen decides I'm done, that there's another server that is similar or almost as good or better, whatever, that I can jump on over and play. And the same goes for retail too. Yeah. Because to me, that argument, which I hear it all the time, of UO is going to be around forever. Okay, well, tell that to WildStar, tell that to Rift, tell that to, other like retail games that you can't log into anymore.
That you can't play anymore. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So to answer your question, New Legacy was I was stoked about it, I was excited, and I was like, all right. And the first beta weekend, I was like, all right, I'm playing it, I'm getting in here. And it was like the most disappointing. It was like comically frustrating. Didn't quite like terrible it was for me. Okay. And I was trying to be as positive as possible, but it was coming off as like, I'm just being like snarky, but unfortunately, like, that's how I felt. Like, I'm like, what the hell have they been doing? Like,
for 5 years.
Why is this the product?
Yeah.
And from my point of view, it's like, this is not what I think they should be doing. Right. Like, and then like right before the beta announcement, they announced that they were going to ban anybody using like the open source client. Cause that's what I was always been using to log into live, because their regular client is stuck in 12 FPS and none of the accessibility options that the like nameplates and all these different things that I need because I'm blind. You can't even have that stuff in the game. So I'm like, what? You took like the possibility of me enjoying this, you kicked it away. And then the actual gaming experience of New Legacy was like, that's not for me.
And what I hate about that though, is that they don't really give a reason to it. I mean, did they? Maybe I missed it, but did you see an actual reason as to why we're going to do this?
No. I mean, again, I didn't search that hard, but
sure.
What's funny is like, I was so mad. I actually logged in to create a forum account at UO.com because I was like, I've been leaving comments on their YouTube channel because they've been trying to post videos to their like official UO channel.
Yeah, Finico does that, I think.
And I was like, like, why is this? Can we just please work with the open source community? Like, just like, you shouldn't be talking to me about how you can change your resolution from 800 by 600 to 12.
That video was so bad because why do you need a video for that when the open source thing is a simple drag of a diamond? That could have been a 4-second video.
God, it boiled my blood. I'm pretty sure that was the video that then I was like, all right, I'm going in the forum because at this point I need to tell them. I've sent emails. I never get an email back. I was like, all right, I'm going to the forum. I went down the rabbit hole of reading so many positive reviews from the people on the UO.com forums about how they're enjoying Legacy and how it's like,
that's good.
It's so nice. And they're like, I was just reading people being happy. And then I realized, like, this game is not for me. they are not making this game for me. They're making this game for the people that currently play, right? They're making the people. They're making the people that are on Reddit, the people that use Discord, the people that like are you and me that stream. They are not making the game for us. They're making it for the other people that are like on Facebook, right? They're making it for the people that don't actually sit in our community where we are.
Yeah, I guess they used to play forever ago and have been disconnected from technology and computer games for the last 20 years.
Correct. Yeah. And the comment that hit me the hardest on my like reaction to the new legacy the first week was somebody was talking about like referencing a car. Okay. And they said like, all right, I have a vintage Mustang, right? I have a vintage, I love it. It's the best, right? It's my favorite car ever. I have to get a rental car when I go somewhere. So I get a new Mustang. I realize the new Mustang, it's got some cool features, right? It's like, I got a cool thing. It's got, you know, whatever. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's like, but when I got home, I still enjoyed my original Mustang better. Didn't quite, you know? And I was like, okay, I mean, that's a great analogy. I mean, I've never heard of it like that, but it makes sense, right? Yeah. Like the 12 FPS is your no power steering, you know? The 12 FPS, the no options like with nameplates is your freaking rolling the window down like this. Didn't quite enjoy that experience. So I can't take that away from you. That's cool. I still think I should be able to roll in with power doors and power steering. You know what I mean? Like I should still be able to log in to your client, your server with didn't quite that experience. You know what I'm saying? So it's just funny seeing like you mentioned it, like some people are just stuck in their way. And maybe again, this is me being stuck in my way. And you can't make everybody happy, obviously. But they are making UO.com and UO Legacy not for us, in my opinion.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a mic drop right there. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's fair. That's very fair. I just,
makes me think.
Yeah, it does. It does me too. When they first announced it, I just kind of, I thought it really was going to be more of a classic server that they were just going to relaunch every season. Yeah. And I guess I should have read more into it or something, but that's really what myself and others thought.
Yeah.
And I remember they would do those live streams that was like a Zoom or a Discord call, and they would listen to chat and be like, you know, answer some of the questions, and then they went really bad. And so they stopped doing those. And, you know, even the questions, they were real indirect with their answers, and it just always seemed a little fishy, I guess you could say. And then now it comes out, and I was just like, wow, this isn't anything. And I too, I mean, you streamed it. All I did was react to the trailer on my stream, and I tried very hard because, like you, I want Ultima itself to succeed really well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was giving it the benefit of the doubt, and you know what? I was being nicer than I should have been. I really was. And like I go back and I watch that.
We want it to be good, right? Like same thing. Again, I did not mean for my reaction to playing the game to come off so mean, you know?
Yeah.
But like the more I was playing it, the more I got upset, and I just it like didn't quite just boils my blood. So I understand like your reaction to it, because again, we want it to be So we want it to do well. We want it to be a thing to bring people back.
I guess I'm used to, you know, I played on UO forever, and I thought it was an amazing server. It was like the first of its kind to me that I had played where there was something beyond just getting 700 skill points.
Yeah.
And your tower and you know, and whatever, you know, a couple houses and things. There was more past that. And then Outlands came along, and I started over here, and I'm just like blown away to the point that I haven't really taken any mentionable break from this game at all. And I guess I'm just spoiled in the terms of development, and I was looking for something or Ultima Broadsword to be like, these guys are really successful. What are they doing?
What are they doing? Yeah. How can we replicate that?
That client looks really smooth. Oh, it's an open source client. Well, if maybe there's something in their whatever that makes it to where they can't do open source projects. I don't know what it is, legalities, but that doesn't make sense. But I don't know, man. I'm sure that they could take that open source project, hire somebody to pull it apart and come up with their own.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, that's what they should have been doing this whole time, you know, like
Yeah.
to launch what they launched and then force the client that they have. I'm just, you know, it's not for me, but
Yeah.
it's okay. You know, I'm not upset or anything. I'll get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess so. All right. Well, that's the new legacy.
Yeah.
Here's something that I've been, you know, I'm amazed by some of the stuff that you do. First off, the scripts are great. You know, another thing is shared chat. So I am one of the lucky people that get to use shared chat. And for those of you guys that don't know what it is what you see that says share chat and then the name and then their message. And it lets YouTube talk with Twitch and Twitch talk with YouTube. So both myself and Jace, we stream on multiple platforms, and that's that communication tool. But what was your idea with shared chat, and what's your plans with it?
Yeah. So I'm one of those people that I want to do everything. Okay. So I am unfortunately the guy that says yes to everything too. And I shouldn't, you know, like that's my fault. That's my bad. If I've ever told you I'm going to make you something and I never did, don't take it personally. That's just me. I dropped the ball on you. But like with shared chat, when I started streaming to YouTube, everyone was telling me like, bro, you should stream to Twitch too. Like you should just stream to Twitch. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to have to like re-upload the video because there was a weird delay, right? Like you couldn't
Couldn't just 4 hours or something.
Yeah. And so I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm pretty sure it was Merlitz who convinced me to be like, no, dude, you should stream to both. And I was like, all right. And so I was looking at different ways to stream. And I saw like a restream was an option, but I had to pay for it. And I was like, I don't really want to pay for it if I'm going to stream. And so I downloaded like an open source plugin for OBS, right? To just say, hey, I'm going live on Twitch and I'm going live on YouTube and click, right? And so I started that. The problem is you have to have both chats open in order to like keep on top of things, right? Because at that point, I'm looking at Twitch chat, I'm looking at YouTube chat. And when I first started streaming, I'm a guy that likes to reinvent the wheel. And so like, I didn't use like Stream Elements. I'm not trying to like use different products. I'm like, I'll just make that myself because again, I'm a yes guy and I think I can do everything. And so I started working on a little project to just show the chat for me in one window, right? Because I was like, I just want to be able to like look at one window to see the chat.
Yeah.
Hence shared chat. Like that's how that came about. Didn't quite. I was like, it would be kind of cool if the chat just went ahead and like actually typed out to Twitch, you know, if I'm on YouTube and I say hi, why can't the Twitch community see that somebody on YouTube said hi? Yeah. And so I spent, you know, like 4 months just trying to iron out like how I could get that to work. And I did. And it was great. And it's very buggy and it's built with popsicle sticks, you know, like it's not a full-fledged solution. But then I talked to you about it and I was like, hey, can we like test this on your stream? And so pretty much every stream I was learning something, it would break. I would have to fix it. Emojis were a problem. Links were a problem. Spam was a problem. GIFs were a problem. Like pretty much again, it was built with popsicle sticks. So anything that could go wrong went wrong. And then we went on a good streak of like, everything's fine. And it's just running and it's great, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I think I should like open this up to more people. And so I made a website for it. It's just shared.chat is the website. And I got a couple people to sign up. And then I got more people to use it. But then it's not set up in a way that allows me to use like a whole bunch of people at once. And so there's like a tech backlog that I need to address. And it's just something that's sat in the backlog for like way too long. Okay. So in order for me to progress on that, I just need to buckle down and like go over a tech hurdle. The problem is I then get sidetracked by squirrel, like literally anything else. And so it's like my UO Razorscripts website, like that then took time, right? And then like a new server would come out and that would take time. And then I always in the back of my brain, I'm like, I gotta finish this shared chat thing, man. Like I gotta do this. And you were messaging me about it. You're like, hey, you gotta do this. So long story short, it's still not done, but I have all these other projects up in there. So, but thanks for the shout out. Again, my goal is to sell it.
Yeah.
One day, right? It's just, I do have some technical implementation details that I need to actually iron out in order to monetize. So right now, yeah, you're the special case. And if you've signed up on shared.chat, I've missed you because I haven't been keeping up on who's signed up. So again, my bad on that. I'll be sure to like make sure that I follow up with anybody that signed up.
Yep. Yeah. I just, as streaming becomes more diversified and the platforms like that tend to grow and stuff, I think it would be a big need in the future. I will say it's not happening as quick as I thought it was. YouTube, I was talking about it, I guess, last night, or maybe it was Thursday. I don't know. But they had this CEO, I don't know if it was YouTube or YouTube Gaming or whatever. But anyways, he was a real big gamer. And he used to be a streamer and everything like that. And he had a passion for that part of YouTube to grow. And so he had some great ideas that were going to come. That's where gifting us, memberships came into and all that good stuff and even custom emotes. Because when I first started streaming on YouTube, it didn't have that. It was just like, hey, you could stream and there you go.
Yeah, there wasn't like a live tab or anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, none of that stuff existed.
So. Yeah. And so he did a lot of good work, but there was a lot of stuff that he promised that he didn't finish up on because crypto became a big thing and he decided to go do in the Web3 world and stuff like that. And so he resigned as CEO of whatever part it was. And now there's some new girl, I don't know her name, and haven't really heard much in like a year or two.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if, I don't know. I hope so. Be nice because that's really where, to me, the big thing with YouTube is that it's powered by the biggest search engine, Google, right? And if I search MMORPG, there's a chance that an Ultima Online stream shows up. Because maybe I watched a Jaceowns video over World of Warcraft or another MMORPG, and so it brings up your old video, right?
Yeah.
Or your live stream. Whereas discoverability for Ultima Online on Twitch, you literally have to type Ultima Online. And if you don't know what Ultima Online is, then you're not finding it. So the only people that are finding Ultima Online streams on Twitch are people that typed in Ultima Online that maybe played years ago and were like, oh, wow, this game's still a thing. I typed it in because I was bored and here you are. It's not people that are like, wait, what is this game?
Yeah. Well, so what's funny is like, can we turn UO into like a career? Like when you talk about like a streamer and you talk about like a YouTuber, and you talk about things like that. Is UO able to be a career with streaming? And unfortunately, not for me. But when I look at like who follows the UO category on Twitch, it's like that 49,000 followers, right? And I'm like, that's a lot of people. Didn't quite like get monetize, if you get like all those people watching your stream, then you're going to be okay. The problem is, if you pull in like 100 something viewers, like that's great, but like it's not enough, right?
Yeah.
And so at that point, you're like, okay, well, what other game do I need to look at? What other thing do I need to do? And with our niche, it's like you play another game, and then everyone's like, I don't want to watch you do that. Like, then you're back into like regular, I'm a new streamer mode, Like what's funny is I tried to stream like back in didn't quite, like a long time when Rocket League came out. So long time ago, I was like, that was my jam. I was like, I'm going to stream Rocket League. And I did it for like a couple months and I averaged like 2 viewers, and my joke was that it was my mom and like my friend, And so anytime I would do something cool, I'd be like, clip it, ma, like that would be that would be my tagline, right? But the moment I started streaming UO, I jumped into like 20 people watching me, and I was like, holy shit, like what's this is amazing,
Yeah.
So if you're a new streamer, like having such a niche market is great. If we want to grow, like how do you do that? I don't have that answer at the moment, but I'm trying to get $1 out of everybody. But
Yeah, there you go. For me, I do splash into other algorithms here and there, but I also understand to stay in my lane. If there is, for the longest time, I was like, this year's goals, it's always been find a second game, and nothing ever captures me to want to make content. So there is that, but two, it's like, it's hard to find it, but it's like you said, I think a lot of people, they love Ultima and they love the streamers. Don't get me wrong. They love the streamers and stuff, but I get it, man. When I'm watching, I've got my favorite Ultima streamers that I will watch, and, I'm not super active in chat ever because I'm doing whatever else, but if they're doing something else, a lot of times, man, I'm guilty too. I'm just like, all right, well, who else is streaming? And so for a new streamer, I agree. I will say, man, Ultima Outlands specifically it's not saturated. I don't want to use that word, but it has grown in streaming and content creation a lot in the past like 2 years, a year especially. Whereas used to it was one, maybe two people streaming, and of course you got the bot streams that are just not doing anything, that are on all the time,
24/7.
Yeah. But you have like one or two people now. There's I'm not looking right now, but I'm pretty confident that there's 4 or 5 people that are streaming Outlands currently.
Yeah,
right now. And that's cool.
Good.
Yeah. I think that helps. I think, when somebody, from a different game comes and streams it for a while or a short while or whatever, I think that helps.
Yeah. There's been some streamers who are bigger, right, that then dabble into like Outlands, right?
Yeah.
But it can't work out for them, so it's like they got to move on, right? So that it's cool to see like some people play, and then they realize, all right, well, that was nice, but
yeah, I didn't really gain anything from that. My viewer count started going down because the game was hard to get started.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So. I'm going to do a quick plug here for just another thing that I've been working on instead of shared chat.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I've done the UO Razorscripts website, right? And my fear was like, what if they turn the scripts off? Oh God, like that's terrible.
Yeah.
There goes my niche. And I've thought about this ever since I've done it, right? Because it's like one of those things. It's a very niche market inside of a niche. Okay. And so there's some other websites out there that are like super cool, like Explore Outlands, the map, amazing. Outland Malls, amazing. Like that's a cool concept. Outlands Butler, like that's amazing too. Like there's so many different like niche, like I think there's like Outlands Drip or something.
Yeah, there's a drip one.
So like there's all these cool like other niche markets, and the thing that I am trying to work on now is it's called uoaddicts.com. Okay, so if you're a UO addict, I'm going to get you covered on this new website that I'm working on. Okay, and it's basically to fill in any of the gaps related to UO. So whether it's builds, items, how to get started, what server to play, I'm going to combine all the things that happen in Reddit, Discord, Facebook, and kind of shovel them into one spot.
Okay.
So no matter what server you're going to play or want to play, I'm going to have things on there for you. You're going to be able to make a profile. You're going to be able to fill in your like previous characters you might have played. So maybe you're like in search of somebody you used to play with on Napa Valley in 1997. Hopefully this will be a way you guys can get addicted together.
Yeah.
Again. And so that's my vision of like this other side project that I'm working on. Right now, it's just a landing page. So like if you go to uoaddicts.com, you won't see much besides my face. But
you could have a love connections section on there, and they can swipe right.
Exactly. No, that's pretty much that's what it's about. It's like misconnections on Craigslist. Yeah, exactly.
No, that's awesome though, dude.
So yeah, the biggest thing is like I want it to be community driven again. Like one of the things I liked about UO Razorscripts is giving you guys the ability to like upload things. Yeah. So the same thing, I'm trying to do the same concept around like the Addict website of allowing people to contribute what they know or what they do. And then I just know, like, from my experience of being a web developer, you always have bad actors, you have sassy people. So I'm just trying to make sure that I can build in some things that don't just let it get overrun by
Silly
drama. Yeah.
Yeah. Like funny Amazon reviews. You ever read some of those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another project that I've been dabbling with in the background instead of finishing shared chat. So just so you know,
That's really cool.
yeah, it should be good. It's either going to be really cool or just it's going to be a complete waste of time. But I feel like it could be pretty cool.
Yeah, but you never know until you do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure. I don't know if you did, but I know I did when I made my very first video. I was like, this will either be cool or a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
People are going to make fun of me or not. But
Yes. Are you going to rap for your first video? Are you going to have a little Subway cup?
Man, maybe, right? Maybe. That's cool though, man. I like that. So is that something you might stream the development of? I know sometimes you've worked on, UO Razorscripts.com on your streams.
Yeah. So going back to like, how can you turn this into a job? Can I turn UO into a job? Like, what would that be? And I would love to stream more about side projects related to UO, whether it's working on a website, whether it's working on a shared chat, whether it's doing things that are indirectly related to UO. That would be my ideal goal. I did go through like a website Wednesday phase, but I was so nervous. Like, what's funny is streaming UO and like even doing this podcast, like I'm fine. Like it's fine. Like I don't care at all. Like sharing code and like how I'm making a website gives me anxiety. It's like, I'm like, oh God, because I feel like I'm getting, either way you're getting judged, like when you're playing a game, like you miss a teleport and everyone's like, oh, you suck at this.
Oh yeah.
Like, so if you're like not doing something right in the web community, it's the same way. People are a little bit sassy. And so I need to get over that. I need to remind myself that, hey, it doesn't matter. It's you making this product. You can do it. You should stream it too. People might learn some stuff along the way. They might get interested in programming, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the goal. Now, will that actually happen? I'm not 100% sure, but
the thought, right?
Yeah, it's a thought. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool. I remember I loved it when you would raid me and I would be like, thanks to Jaceowns, I watched every video on his YouTube channel and now I'm the president of coding at Google.
Google, yeah.
I'm not joking, you dude. Somebody DM'd me once and they were like, hey man, I heard you say that you work at Google now because of Jaceowns. I have an interview on Tuesday or whatever. Do you have any pointers that you can give me? It's for coding. I was just like, dude, I was joking. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, at that point you double down, dude. You got to double down. It's like, no, you gotta get in his Discord. You gotta like,
yeah, I should have been like, yeah, man, just when you get in there, just say, hey, Jaceowns and Bum Stars.
Yeah, just say, Pwncast sent me. That's all you got to do. And then,
good. That's great.
Yeah, the joke too for me was I worked at NASA, right? Yeah. So everyone was like, "You work at NASA?" Like, no, I'm not Mark Roper, but appreciate it, guys.
So obviously, I mean, everybody has different opinions on everything, right? I mean, you got some people love things, some people hate things, whatever it may be, whether it's stealing and trolling people or whether even scripting. Yeah. And, Outland Moles, same thing. People love it. People hate it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to scripting, I mean, what are some of the reactions you've got in game or on your stream? Maybe they realize they're farming next to Jaceowns or whatever.
Yeah. My joke is that I'm ruining the game one script at a time, right? Because it really just depends on how you look at it, right? Yeah. So you have the purists who think scripts are the devil, and like I'm literally ruining the game, right? Like no one should play because there's scripts. Like the game's unplayable because there's a script. And I get it. I understand it from their point of view. One of the things that I want to like pat myself on the back for is like I'm trying to share the learnings with everybody, make it accessible for everybody. Yep. So instead of it being a situation where like only some elite coders have like these scripts.
That's how
Everybody.
it was back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So everyone can have these scripts, right? So that's the goal of the website, and that's the goal of sharing things. I just want to make sure that if whether you like them or hate them, they'll be available for you, right?
Yeah.
And I think Outlands has done a fantastic job of disabling stuff that like gives unfair advantage, right? Because going back to like my first stream was as a red hand, I could literally hit a button and it would instantly scan your backpack and pick an item that's the best one, right? And I could
Based
just
off of
steal.
an item number.
Correct. Yeah, I could just say, I could just stand next to you and hit S on my keyboard and it would do all the work, right? So in that regard, they blocked all that kind of thing, right? So that's great. PvP, everyone always asks me, how do I fight back? How do I target the closest red? How do I do that stuff? Outlands has disabled all those things.
Yeah.
So for the people that don't want to play the game because of scripts, Outlands has done a fantastic job of disabling that. So yes, there's still scripts that can help you heal and pop a pouch and things like that. But I don't think it's as bad as some people remember from like the Rails situation where you could have a party command where everyone just hits the same person at the same time.
Yeah.
That
I
doesn't
don't care what people say. There's some skill when it comes to everybody get Jace on target. Everybody got Jace. All right, 3, 2, 1, drop.
Yeah.
I get it that's like super quick, but scrolling through and getting that target or finding it if you've got 20 bars up on your right side of your screen.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of skill to that.
That's a skill. Yeah.
It versus the whole like because when I was in EQMS on UO Forever and everything, they had drop on target, closest target. And so I was literally just, all right, load E-bolt. All right, drop, 3, 2, 1, drop. And that was it. And you would just drop on the target closest and it would kill them every time.
Yep.
This, you miss the target, you hit the wrong guy, or you hit your own guy, I've seen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think Outland specifically has done a way better job than other servers in regards to like limiting scripting, right?
Yeah.
Because the other thing is
that's why I opened Pwnholla, because I couldn't walk in mine anymore.
Oh, exactly. That's what I was going to say. I haven't mined really since that got disabled, because I don't want to do that. And I had bots to do it for me and they disabled it.
Yeah.
Obviously it makes me sad. Like again, me and Outlands have a love-hate relationship. Like I've quit Outlands multiple times.
I agreed with it 100%. I was like, yeah, that needed to be done, but fuck you, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Like there goes my money,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I from my point of view, I don't think scripts ruin the game. I think they make it more enjoyable, especially for me. I've joked too, like Razer is my game and then UO is just in the background, right? And so what's funny is I like auto shooter games and idle games. Like that's my jam.
How many idle games are going on your phone right now? Just in the background.
So what's funny, I don't play phone games. I hate the phone. If I didn't have a phone, I'd be okay. I'll be in the other room with my wife and she'll ask me a question, like a Google something. I will get up and go in my computer room to sit at the computer to look it up. Like I don't like getting stuck in this little device. So the thing that I use my phone more for the most is like Reddit. Yeah. So that's my app. If I'm on Reddit, you probably know where I am.
Yeah. Eventually our phones are going to be up here though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I'll just be like, Google is.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Like, why go to Kung Fu when I can just upload it for $19.99 on the Google Play Store?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I got to renew my subscription, otherwise I won't have that ability anymore.
Yeah. That's how it goes. So, I mean, what?
Oh, and so yeah, as far as like the scripts, like what's do I have a favorite? Do I have a situation, right? Like people come up to me. It's my favorite part is seeing things named like Jace and or Jace, YouTube like that.
And they just own it and leave it on there.
It makes me giggle, like that. It makes my heart happy.
But how many people you think don't know how to change it? And they're like, God dang it.
Oh no, I get asked like, how do I turn that off? And it's just a flag. You can just turn it on and off. Like it's, but you got to like read through the comments and, the amount of again, if I was better about making content, I could make a video every like 3 hours, right? And because there's so many questions that come in about how Razer works, how the game works, how this specific first functionality works. And like, if I was better about making content, I would be like shorts. I've always talked to you about this. You are a content machine. I am so jealous of you in regards to you're very consistent each week. You might miss a week here and there, but you make so much content you can't even tell, you know? And if I just wish I had your ability to like hone it in, you know?
Well, I'll tell you, the more that I stay consistent, the more this part grows and this turns less red. I used to have red hair, man. I swear. Now it's just gray. But
Yeah, it's like you served your presidency, you know? Like
yeah.
you are the UO spokes, like you are the Outlands like spokes model. Okay. I think if anybody were to be voted king of Outlands, it's you. So congratulations on that, by the way. You've done it.
King of a 30-year-old wizard game.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, man, I've really just been trying to figure out ways to make it take less time, but also get more content at the same time. You know, I've been able to come up with, I still do gameplay clips for shorts, but not as much. Those take a lot of time.
Yeah.
I've found things like opusclips.ai, to take the podcasts, this is coming up on an hour and 45 minutes, and I'll be able to take that and plug it in there, and it'll break it up into clips for me. And then I just go through and watch those clips and decide this one's good, and then edit it how I want.
Yeah.
And then also like green screens and making little jokes about it and about the game. What's funny is those ones right there, I can knock out like a lot pretty quick, and people like those better than the actual clips of the game. I guess they got tired of the same clip of me stealing something, laughing, and
or just
running away or dying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's funny about that. Like when you look at the gameplay, like in our brains, when you're playing UO, it's like the most intense. Like this is like so. Oh man, like so like heart racing. And then when you look at the clip, it seems so boring.
Yeah. Well, that's why I spruce it up with some makeup and yelling and I do wish, I feel like I've backed myself into a corner though with YouTube videos where I've gotten better at editing and rather than just having my screen, my face at the bottom right, or not even my face on there, and using my mouse and just talking through, I've put images in certain spots and made it look good. And so it takes 6 hours, 10 hours, whatever, for an 8-minute video, and I hate that, man. I wish I would have just, here's how you do this, and just go through it and talk through it, because it works. This message comes through the same. I just wanted to learn how to edit, and I guess that I served its purpose, right? And now I know how to edit videos and stuff. And hey, you know what? If I lose my job, I might be able to get a job as a video editor at some place. I don't know. Probably I'd be like, what the fuck is this shit you're showing me?
Well, it's funny because there's some YouTubers that do such a like amazing storytelling job, like they have like the editing plus the storytelling plus the thing. And then I look at my video and I'm like, shit, I can't do this worth a damn, and so then when I go to like make a video, I have like that complex of like, well, it's not going to be like his video, and it's not going to be like, nobody's going to want to watch this shit. And then I just don't do it, and I just need to go back to like what I'm telling myself earlier, just put out the content, Like if you're an aspiring content creator, just do it.
Yeah. I've seen people and I've had people say like, it doesn't need to look good, man. Just get it out there and people understand it. So that's really what they're looking for, right? They're looking to learn something. I can agree with that 100%. 100% to anybody out there.
But we want our video to be better, like your last video, you want your next video to be better than your last video. Right. At least that's how I felt. And that's why I stopped making content, because I was like, I made the best video I'm ever going to make in my life. So
not getting any better now. If you could suggest something to Outlands, Owen came to you and he was like, Jace, whatever you want to do, man, that money's not an object. Just tell me what the next thing I need to do is.
Yeah. What's funny is like Outlands has done such a good job with quality of life and skill enhancements. And every time there's a patch, I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe it. You know, I literally don't think I could tell them anything besides trying to get quite official, you know, like what we talked about earlier is like, if they could somehow work with the official UO team, be recommended from them again, not possible, but it would be great. If UO was on Steam or Epic Launcher, if you like actually could find the game in these other places that it doesn't exist, that's where I would think would be cool for UO.
Make it more legit. Even though it is legit, make it more legit.
Make it more legit. Exactly. Yeah. And I think what's funny about like Owen and like the team is they get a lot of flack, right? You can't make everybody happy. And obviously there's some people that are going to be upset no matter what you do. And I think that Owen has a silly way of dealing with the community that rubs people the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
And then he gets blasted, you know, and I couldn't imagine like being in his position and keeping his cool. So, hey, props to him. And I would just say, keep, you know, Lutheus, him, Jaden, Trank, everybody who's working on this stuff, like keep doing what you're doing because it's working, you know?
Yeah.
And every time I try to quit, you get me back. So
I agree with you, man. I think it's like you said, no matter what you do, it's going to make people mad. You know, I'm sure Arcane, even though me and you are sitting here like kids in a candy store, just excited as can be about it. There's people like, what? Why? No, that's dumb. Why did you do that?
Yeah.
You know,
that's not UO. Like my favorite comments are like, I tried Outlands, but that's not UO. I don't really want to play UO.
So I went back to retail. It's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Can't argue with you.
Yeah. But yeah, I just, I mean, it's props to them for being able to take that because it does, man. It sucks when you get like a bad comment or whatever, you know, somebody's talking shit. I'm pretty good about just being like, whatever. But at the same time, man, sometimes I'm like, fuck. And then I have to be like, whatever.
Yeah. It can hurt. Like, going back to like YouTube comments, like I try to respond to all my YouTube comments, even if they're negative, right? Because again, some people think I'm ruining the game. So I get that. Yeah. Like, hey, I hope you find a server that you can play and you enjoy, you know?
Yeah.
Like
that's it.
Good luck.
Good luck, man. Yep.
See you in Outlands in a year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it too, man. You always see those same people come back and they're like, hey man. What so speaking of other games, man, what other games are you excited about coming out? Maybe they're out. You just haven't.
Yeah. Again, we've talked about this a little bit. It's like like WoW came out and I want to play it, but I haven't. I haven't bought it. Diablo 4 came out, and I was so excited about Diablo 4 because I was like a Diablo 3 super fan.
Yeah,
me too. And I just recently bought Diablo 4, so I was just recently playing it. So that's been fun. The expansion for Diablo 4 is going to come out in October, so I'm definitely going to play it then.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, I definitely want to like do a little stream event for that as well. And then
I like the story in Diablo, man. The whole heaven and hell thing has always just kind of fascinated me and you know, those stories and you add medieval factors to it. It's super cool, you know, fantasy and things like that. Yeah. I remember Diablo 1, maybe it was Diablo 2, a map of the stars dropped. I don't remember how I got it in the game, but it was an item called Map of the Stars. And I just, for whatever reason, thought there was a real connection with that item and heaven and hell that like Diablo 1 and 2, you know, I was like early teenage years and I really thought there was some connection to Diablo and the whole heaven and hell thing. And, you know, the story just enthralled me and it has ever since. I've just always really liked Diablo stories and, you know, now with the technology with their video editing and cinematics, it's like,
dude, they're so good. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's funny about like Diablo is like the game itself is so old. I like super tangent, but I like the is it rigor mortis? It's not rigor mortis. It's where you review a game. What the hell's that called? It's not rigor mortis. It's
Resurrection review. I don't know.
yeah. Shit, what's it called? Anyway, like, so they've done it from UO, right? Like you can hear them talk about how they developed the game. It's like their 15-year anniversary and they like re-review how it goes. Well, they did the same thing with Diablo, the guy that wrote Diablo. And it was actually a turn-based game. Okay. And so everyone was telling him that, no, it needs to be like real time. And he's like, no, that's stupid. Like, I want it to be a turn-based game. And so he was like, click it, you would click your character and then you'd have to end your turn and it would move. And so he talks about how they were convincing him to do this. And he's like, I think it's so stupid. So he like coded it up to just play the turns. And he's like, the moment I clicked the skeleton and my guy went over there and whacked it, he was like, I couldn't believe I didn't think that would work, Yeah. And he talked about how exciting it was. Like, I'm getting goosebumps, like talking about that shit. That's how cool like games are to me, like from a tech standpoint and like how they work. I wish in a Magic Happy Land, I was like a game developer.
I was going to ask, have you ever thought about trying to develop a game or anything like that?
I've done it multiple times, but I can't get past the finish line. I made a game in high school. It was called Tanky Wars. I took the sprites from StarCraft and I made like an asteroid game, and you were a tank, and then you could drive over the StarCraft maps and it would shoot like Marines and they would blow up. And I used the sound effects from the game.
Yeah.
And I constantly kind of do enough to make something, but never finish. It's kind of like shared chat. It's kind of like a website.
I think that would, I don't know. I think that would be something kind of neat as like a side Ultima, like kind of fun thing with the sprites. I don't know, man. I'm just thinking that'd be kind of like a cool thing. I mean, I'd play it, dude. Kind of
in my brain. Again, this would be I would take the UO sprites and do some game. Like, again, I like idle games, so I'm totally fine if the game is just you click. I'm sending my guys off to do a dungeon, and then I collect some loot. That's cool. Or then you gather some stuff, and the timer goes by, and I'm 10.
So
warrior.
Let me add this to your list.
Yeah.
What about a UO-based giveaway game? I am sick of marbles, dude.
Okay.
Sick of marbles.
I understand. I hate marbles as well.
It's like, damn it.
Yeah. Yes, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Like to where they can react to something in the Discord, or whatever. Join it with the exclamation play on YouTube and Twitch. Has to be on both.
Yeah. Have you seen? I have a giveaway script.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my giveaways happen real time in the game.
Yeah.
My Jace bot is what captures the data. So all you do is type in the chat, and then you fall from the sky as a player in my overlay. So if you're interested, we could probably get that on your stream, and you could do a Razorscript giveaway.
There we go. We go. But now we got to figure out how to turn it into
like a product.
Like a game thing, like they PvP battle, Vastword, Flam, Court Pour. I don't know, man. Just because the argument for marbles that everybody always says, because I really liked doing the WWE announcements.
Yes,
that was fun.
Yeah,
but people.
Okay, what's funny is on the stream, it's like you were so excited about it, and like no one wanted to do it except for like 5 people, and it was defeating to see you be like, all right, we'll do marbles,
I would see, I'm not shitting you, man. I will always see on Saturdays like 200 people watching between all 5 platforms, right? All of a sudden it'd be like the Trevec WWE giveaway, and then we'd get in there and I'd just see it go down by like 40 people instantly, and I'm just like, fuck, man, I'm having so much fun, and everybody I think loves it, but apparently they don't.
Yeah. I thought it was hilarious. I enjoyed your castings.
Yeah. People would say it was because, well, on marbles you get to see your name and you feel like you're winning. You have a chance to win. And
okay.
So if they see the name and maybe those things are fighting somehow, I don't know.
Yeah. I like it. The wheels are turning.
Yeah. It's all about the name. Seeing your name.
So say my name.
Say my name. It's great.
We could probably call it that with the Say My Name giveaway.
That's right. That's right. Oh man, it'd be a good soundboard. Awesome. All right, man. Who I like to ask everybody this: who should be the next person on the Pwncast?
Has anybody said like Richard Garriott? Of course, you should probably get him on there. I'm assuming somebody said that, but is Owen never going to come on here? Does he just sell
Okay, I've asked him. He said no. And then he said in general chat, Pwnstar, he said, no one asks me to be on their podcast anymore. And then everybody was like, what? Why don't you podcast? And he was like, well, he asked me, but he makes everybody be on their camera, and I don't want to do that. And so I DM'd him because we did the role-playing one, and a couple people didn't have their cameras. And I was like, you know what, that's whatever. And then there's another guest that's going to be, I think, next month, maybe the month after. And they're not going to have their camera on. And so I was like, listen, man, you want to get on here? I got these two guests lined up, and then you can come in this month. Yeah. And we don't have to do a camera. No response.
Okay. Yeah. No, okay. So, all right. So that's my answer.
Yes. I'm calling you out, Owen. Yeah. Again.
Hone Owen in. Get him on the podcast. Yeah. Hey, no cam Owen. He doesn't want to be recognized in public. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hell, if I ran Outlands, I'd be a little bit worried too.
Yeah. You banned the wrong guy, man. You banned the wrong guy. And
people are crazy.
Yeah, they are. Ultimate people are a different breed.
Yeah. We sure are. Look at us.
Yeah.
We're playing a game from 1997.
Yeah. That's in itself is enough. Well, man, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for having me on Pwncast. This was awesome. I appreciate it. We talked about, I was on episode 0, so be sure to check out episode 0. That was the bar. But yeah, no, I'm Jaceowns. So I'm Jaceowns pretty much everywhere. So youtube.com/Jaceowns, twitch.tv/Jaceowns. Any other website you could think of /Jaceowns, even not ones that are good. Jaseowns.com, UO Razorscripts.com, UOAddicts.com, shared.chat. I'm just out here.
I liked episode 0. I mean, for those of you guys that don't know, because you're right, I didn't say anything about that at the beginning, I don't think. But it was the Pwnstar Gaming meetup in November of like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Here in Oklahoma City. And Jace drove over here, and a lot of people. It was a good one. But we did a 4 or 5 person panel live in a bar, streaming from my phone. Alchemister was holding the phone for an hour and whatever. And I had a little lapel microphone that I would ask a question and just pass it down. It was in a bar. Like we like blocked off a section of this bar, and it was a small bar too. And it was a comedy club. And so it would fill up and then it would die. And then it would fill up because they would like get ready to go into the show. And people were just like looking at us like, what the fuck are those guys doing over there? And this old lady comes out, obviously drunk. And what'd she do? Lick your cheek and your head?
She was trying to give me a little extra loving.
Yeah. So,
memories.
Good times. Well,
no licks on this stream.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Jace. I appreciate you, man. I look forward to seeing you in the future and hanging out with you on your stream and all that cool stuff. So,
thanks, man.
And UO Addicts and the new UO giveaway game.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Peace.